I'm finally sharing with you guys this highly requested video for air fryer recipes. What is up, you guys? Welcome back to another video. My name is Kira if you are new, and today I'm sharing with you a highly requested video on air fryer recipes. So I received a Cosori toaster oven, which is also an air fryer, and a rotisserie oven a few years back, and I've been using it ever since. It was one of the first things I got sent to me here when we first moved to Texas, and we would not be able to live without it. It's a toaster oven, it bakes, like I said, it does the rotisserie, but we use it a lot for the air fryer. And you guys always ask me, hey, can you share some air fryer recipes? I got one for Christmas, or I got one for my birthday, or I'm interested in one. What are your go-to recipes? And I've just never done it before. But when I did that grocery haul and I asked you guys to leave me dinner recipes, a lot of you left air fryer recipes and asked if I would share some more. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to put together a starter recipe of 5 easy recipes, and then we'll go into some meals. So I can't wait to share with you some of the things I have put together. And we're going to start out with my all-time favorite, okay? And this is bagels. I made bagels in the air fryer, you guys. This was something that was completely new to me, and I was really excited about putting it together. And you need plain Greek yogurt, self-rising flour, and an egg. And if you want to do seasoning on it, you can. Of course, I did the everything but the bagel seasoning because I'm from Long Island, where we are the home of the bagel, and a egg everything bagel is life to me. And so just to put a little egg coating on it and a bagel seasoning, I was all about it. Listen to how simple this recipe, you guys. 1 cup of flour to 1 cup of yogurt. That's it. Just those 2 ingredients. You mix them together until you have like a dough consistency, and you'll be able to tell when it comes all together that it feels the texture of dough. And then we're going to go ahead and just dump it out onto a countertop that you're going to add a little bit of flour to. You can see here, I dump a little bit of flour, I grab a spoon, I just kind of smear it over our surface, and then now we're going to knead this until it pretty much stays together. It did not take me very long to do this at all. Like maybe I would say 2 to 3 minutes. I gave it a good knead. You don't want to overdo it, because if you overdo it, you're not going to have a light and fluffy bagel, which is what you want. So once you get a nice dough ball consistency, then we're going to go ahead and cut it into 4 pieces. Once you cut it into 4 pieces, you're going to do what you did when you were a little kid and you took Play-Doh and you made like a snake, and you just want to keep it as even as possible, and then you're going to put it in a circle and connect it. It's literally that easy. And if I would have known all this time that I could have done something this easy, you guys have actually shared even recipes with me when I've talked about bagels, like, hey, you know, you can make bagels in your air fryer and whatever. And I just kind of, I'm from the home of bagels. Nothing's going to be as good. This was so easy, you guys, and they were so good. So once we were done rolling them up, I just took our air fryer basket and I sprayed some of the cooking spray on there so we had no stickage. And the best way to do it is just 4 at a time. They don't plump up too much, but I wouldn't want to squeeze anything else on the tray. So once they're on there, I put our egg in a little bowl and I just gave it a good whisk, just like you're doing a scrambled egg. With a fork is fine. And then grab yourself a basting brush and dunk it into that egg and go ahead and coat each one of your bagels. This was so key to me because it really gave, it's not the eggy like an egg bagel from Long Island, but it definitely helped a little bit. And then that also created a wetness that's going to allow your seeds to stick. You can see me snapping a little picture there because I shared it on Instagram. I was so excited that I was going to be able to make bagels. And so you set it for 330 degrees for 10 minutes. I also just feel like, just like every oven, all of them run differently. So I did put it back in for another 5 minutes. I think it might have if I jacked the temperature up a little bit, I could have stayed at 10, but I do think it needed a little bit of extra cooking. But otherwise, you guys, this is the bagel done. It's not as dark in color as I thought, but again, this was my first run, so I did end up making more, and you can see the next batch ends up changing in color, but the texture on the inside is what I was looking for. I was so excited. The bottom was cooked perfectly, and I was waiting. Like, I just wanted it to be cool enough for me to rip it open so I can show you you guys that it is a light and fluffy texture on the inside. I put a little cream cheese on. There's me snapping another picture of it because it was so good. I wanted you guys to see, even in the Instagram photo, the detail of how well that this cooked up. So good that I decided to make one of Jacob's favorites from Dunkin' Donuts. He loves their little bagel bites. And so it's just a bagel stuffed with cream cheese. And every time that we're out for breakfast, like that's what he wants to stop and get. And so I made that. I just made small little dough balls, and like just the way that we did. Instead of making it a ring, I made it flat, put a scoop of cream cheese on it, and then covered it with another dough ball. Did the same thing, a little egg on top, a little seeds on the top of that, and then I just baked them in the oven, and we had these cream cheese stuffed bagel bites. Jake was over the moon, and he said because I put seeds on it, the ones from Dunkin' Donuts don't have seeds, he said I even beat them out, which was such a compliment from my kid because he's such a food snob. But I ended up finishing the whole container of yogurt. I went back, we all ate some that night. All the bagel bites went. That's all it's left was 2 out of the 6 that I made. And then I made a bunch of bagels, 8 bagels, and there's only like 5 there because we all had one. This is what was left, and we froze. But you guys, air fryer bagels, best recipe ever. This was a recipe that needs some tweaking. The inside was fantastic, but I don't know if I like egg roll wrappers in the air fryer, but we'll talk about that in just a second. So I have the Nasoya vegan egg roll wrappers. They are my absolute favorite. They are amazing, okay? It doesn't care that it's vegan. It's so good. I have pickles here. I have some Monterey Jack cheese, some bacon, some red onion, 1 pound of ground beef. I have some ketchup, and then back there is just a packet of seasoning I'm using from Every Plate, but it's French fry seasoning, which they even sell that in the store. And I think that's just salt, pepper, garlic, and paprika it might be. But anyways, I have that, and we're going to add that to our meat. But again, you can use French fry seasoning, but let's go ahead and put a little bit of olive oil in a frying pan and get our onion that's diced cooked down a little bit. And once our onion is cooked down, we're going to go ahead and just add our things in stages. So we're going to add our ground beef and that seasoning packet. Again, you can just use a French fry seasoning. I'm just using the packet that I have, but you're going to go ahead, mix that all together. And then once that's all mixed and cooked through, then we're going to go ahead and add the pickles that I chopped up. I ended up using those Oh Snap ones because we didn't have any other pickles on hand. So I threw in the pickles, and then I probably threw in about the equivalent of a cup of shredded cheese, and then maybe a half a cup of chopped up bacon, and then I would say the equivalent of maybe 3 tablespoons of ketchup, and maybe the same 3 tablespoons of pickles, and then probably only 1 tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce. And I mixed that all together, and it made the most incredible bacon cheeseburger mixture. Like that would have been so good over so many things, but we were going to roll it in these egg roll wrappers and make these cheeseburger egg rolls. So I only put like 1 teaspoon in each wrapper, and I just rolled them up like a little present. I have a bowl of water to lick your fingers, and you're going to fold it, almost like an envelope when you were a little kid. 1 time over, you fold in the sides, you wet the top, and then you just keep rolling until it sticks. It's actually really, really easy, but I will say that there's something about these egg roll wrappers that when you submerge them in actual oil and they puff up, they get these little bubbles on the outside, which just make the most amazing crisp. So I put them, as it was recommended, 15 minutes at 375 degrees. They're definitely cooked through. You can see that they're all brown and crispy and I flipped them over halfway through, or I don't think it would have even been as good as it was. Maybe they could have been a little browner, but if an egg roll, if you would have deep fried that, it just would have plumped up a little bit different. This is obviously the healthier way to do this, but I think if I was going to do this again, I'd rather do it like apple pie filling or something, not the cheeseburger. The cheeseburger needs to be in that egg roll texture. It's the only time I say that in this video, but I feel like they would be so much better if they were regular fried. But all right, this was perfect air fried. So we're going to make some baked potatoes. You guys, olive oil, salt, granulated garlic, fresh parsley, 3 potatoes. That's it. Like, this is all we needed. And it was literally incredible. So you're going to take a bowl and you're just going to stick your potato inside of the bowl, because you're going to use a fork now and you're going to poke holes in it, which just allows the air to vent and circulate throughout the potato and cook it thoroughly during your cook time. Drizzle a little bit of olive oil over the top. You're going to add a little bit of salt and your granulated garlic, and then our parsley. You can chop it with a knife, but I've mentioned before, I just like the rough ability to just kind of pull apart your herbs. I like the big chunky herbs. I don't know, that's just me, but you can go ahead and dice it any way that you want to, and then you're going to roll your potatoes in that mixture. Go ahead and repeat it to all 3, and then stick them in the air fryer for 400 degrees for 43 minutes. I know it sounds like a long time, but a potato really needs to thoroughly cook. But darn, you guys, look at that crispy skin, the way the parsley just dried up on there, and it was crispy on the outside but still soft on the inside, which is, to me, is just the perfect way to have a potato. And we had stew that night, and so it kind of created this perfect base. I ended up ladling the stew right over, and so being that it was air fried, the gravy didn't make it soggy potatoes. It was a nice crispy hull to hold up this stew. Literally delicious, you guys. I highly recommend air frying your baked potatoes if you have not tried to cook them that way. Fabulous. All right, we're going to do 2 desserts now. And again, these were so unique to me and I couldn't wait to try them. So this is an air fryer peach recipe. Okay, so you're going to need 2 peaches, some brown sugar, some graham cracker crumbs, some butter. That's it. And then I have whipped cream and ice cream here just as like some additives after. But you're going to start off by cutting your peaches. Okay, go ahead and trim your peaches into like chunks. You really want them to be able to sit on top of, make a cup almost. So I would do at least a wedge thick enough to stand on the skin. All right. But you're going to start off by putting them skin side up in the air fryer for 350 degrees for 5 minutes. While they're cooking, we're going to prep our topping. So you're going to do a 1/2 cup of brown sugar and a 1/2 cup of those graham cracker crumbs, and you're going to mix it together. That's it. While you're doing that, you're also going to take a few tablespoons of butter and put them in cubes. At this point now, our peaches are done on their 5 minutes, so I pulled them out, and now you're going to flip them over. So now it's skin side down, and you're going to put on top of that delicious warm flesh now all of the brown sugar and graham cracker crumbs, and then you're going to take your little butter cubes, and you're going to stack them the best that you can on top of these peaches. That's why I said try and make it like a wedge, and then stick it back in for 5 minutes. And look at that. The peaches are like still firm but tender, and then the butter and the brown sugar and the graham crackers, they give that feeling of the bottom of a cheesecake. It was so delicious. I thought about ice cream, but this was the middle of the day, and so I didn't end up doing the ice cream. I just kind of put it in a bowl, and then I put a little bit of whipped cream on it, and then I topped it with my, I think it's cinnamon, sugar, and cocoa. It's one of the seasonings I got from Trader Joe's, but you guys, holy cow. And what I love the best about this is I feel like it's a dessert that you could whip up super, super quick if you had guests come over and you didn't have anything. As long as you had some peaches, brown sugar, graham crackers, and butter in the fridge, you can make yourself an amazing dessert. So this was something else that kind of blew my mind also, but I love charros. There's just something about the cinnamon and sugar flavor, and this was a way to make a charro bite by using angel food cake. And I feel like a lot of people just have like simple cake mix or something that they could whip up, because you could do this literally with anything. But you're going to cube some cake. I have some white sugar here, some cinnamon, and then this is just an empty spray bottle I had from that Veggie Aqua, the fruit and veggie cleaner, and I just put some regular vegetable oil in there so I can spritz it down. I was out of cooking spray, and I figured that would be the best way to kind of give a mist over this, because we want this pound cake to be able to quote unquote air fry. That's the key to air frying, is putting oil onto your food in a fine mist and allowing that to crisp up that way without submerging it in oil. But now you're just going to go ahead and you're going to take whatever you're using, cupcake, pound cake, angel food cake, whatever, and you're just going to put it into these little cubes. So I cut strips, I made little cubes, and then that was it. I grabbed my air fryer basket. You're going to want to make sure it's sprayed down with some kind of cooking spray. So I did spray it down, you know, with that olive oil mist, and then you're going to load all of your little pieces on into a single thin layer. So don't double anything up because you want them to be crispy on both sides. I will say that the recommended time, in my opinion, was not enough, but it worked out perfect because I made these again during the day when nobody was around to eat them. And so by putting them in the air fryer, like they said, it was 350 degrees for just 10 minutes. To me, it was not enough, but I coated them with cinnamon and sugar when they came out, and then we put them in a Tupperware. And then once everyone was ready to eat them, I re-misted them down and put them back into the air fryer for another 5 minutes, and it kind of gave them their extra crisp that they really needed. But this was another super quick dessert that I feel like anybody could throw together. I had a cheesecake dip that I bought that I meant to from HEB that for this purpose that I wanted to pull out and put alongside of it, and I totally completely blanked and forgot to pull it out while I was filming this clip. But you guys, these were so good because it was like warm cake. And if you like cinnamon and sugar, it was just kind of crispy on the outside, but still soft on the inside with this cinnamon and sugar, but not as crispy like as it could have been. That's why, like I said, we re-misted it with oil and put it back in for another 5 minutes. But any of these recipes that I have shared with you guys today, I had some kind of derivative inspiration coming from Pinterest. Most of this I kind of dubbed myself. I just used it as a base, but I'll make sure to put all the recipes that I found that were my inspiration for this in the description box. But all in all, you guys, I think these were 5 super easy recipes that anybody could do if you're trying to practice with your air fryer. The bagels, the baked potato, the peaches, the cake. I think the only thing that you might intimidate you is those cheeseburger egg rolls. But otherwise, all those other things are a great way for you to learn how to use your air fryer. And if you guys like this recipe and you give it a thumbs up and you tell me you enjoy the style of recipe, I'll make sure to share the air fryer recipes that you guys asked to see when I asked those questions for dinners, because they're more air fryer dinners, like an air fryer pork chop or something like that. So if you guys let me know you want to see more of that, I'll make sure to prepare those and share another video. But all right, you guys, like I said, I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, make sure to give it a huge thumbs up, subscribe if you are new, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye, you guys.